Good morning. Happy Saturday. Welcome on into Let's Bet It. Lauren Javara here with Alex Glaze, Mark Zinno. We're getting ready to break down all of the bowl game action because, yeah, we had a couple yesterday. 6 games today. Alex, how you feeling about it?
Well, I'm happy that there's 6 more games. Didn't go too well for me yesterday. I can't possibly get every game wrong, right? Like what I learned yesterday is whatever you think you know, whatever stats you're looking at, they don't matter. These bowl games just don't. I'm about to just start looking at rosters and pick out the coolest headshot, and that's the team I'm going to roll with. That I mean,
look at the jerseys.
That just seems like the better strategy than actually looking at like numbers and logic when it comes to these games. I mean, but it's definitely fun to have so much college football.
Mark, how'd it go for you yesterday?
It was a slow roll on the way in. Middle Tennessee was the one play I had. So I started with meager beginnings and hope to grow with a lot going on today. And crazy, guys, that from December 14th, I think through January 6th, we have football, either college or pro, every single day.
Which is so exciting. Yeah. Like, honestly, this is the best time of the year. Holidays right around the corner. Football every single day. There's not a day that we're not going to be watching some sort of sport, betting some sort of sport. This is the best time of the year. You know, like the time between Christmas and New Year's where you kind of just forget what day it is and you're just living your best absolute life. I'm looking forward to
yesterday. I didn't know what day it was yesterday. I was like, wait, is it Friday? What's today?
And the good thing about this time of year is there's always a reason to drink. So if you're losing a lot of money, just drink. Everything's fine. Just worry about the next morning.
Okay, just on that, before we get into sports, eggnog, your thoughts, Mark, because I have strong opinions about it.
Outstanding eggnog, especially spiked eggnog. It is delicious.
Yeah, I mean, eggnog is, it's the taste of the holiday. You're not an eggnog fan?
No.
Have you ever had spiked eggnog?
Curdled milk. It tastes like curdled milk.
No, you're not having the right eggnog. You're not having the right eggnog.
Really?
You may be doing it wrong.
Last year, my roommate bought eggnog and then forgot about it, and it sat in our fridge until probably June.
No.
And I went to go dump it out. And since then, I'm like, even just the smell, I can still smell it. Like, even just the thought
any
of
dairy product, Lauren, if you leave it in the fridge for 6 months, that's not just eggnog.
It wasn't mine.
It's not specific
to
eggnog.
That's my responsibility.
Curds themselves are dairy. So if you eat cottage cheese, you're eating curds. Like that's what it is.
That's true. That's true. Okay. Well, I'm glad that we solved that debate on the holiday beverage topic. Now we got a lot of debates going on today for some of these bowl games. So we have bowl games today, and the Patriots are playing later tonight. We got some NFL football on Saturday, so we'll break that down too. And then we can't end with our best bets of the day. So without further ado, guys, let's get into it. Let's bet it. First bowl game. First of all, full slate, 6 games. Yesterday was good. It was a surprise to me that Toledo lost. Coastal Carolina stuffed Northern Illinois. I loved that one. I know Jared has been riding high on Coastal Carolina all season long, but let's take it to the Boca Raton. Raton or Raton?
Raton. I think Boca Raton.
Yeah, I know. Boca Raton. Tomato, right? Kind of the same thing. Appalachian State taking out Western Kentucky. App State's laying 2.5 in this one. Over under 66.5. Both teams, I look at this game, kind of had a bad taste in their mouth, right? Coming off conference championship losses. Both teams red hot entering their championship weekends. Western Kentucky won 7 games straight before the loss. App State won 6 straight before losing to Louisiana for the second time in the season. Now, 2 teams, for me, this game is kind of hard to gauge, right? They've had successful seasons, but kind of disappointing losses. One motivation factor that I do love is Western Kentucky will want to get Zappy the single season touchdown record, don't you think? Right? So Absolutely. He needs 5. I think that the Tops are going to do everything that they can to be able to get him there. For App State, I think that they're going to have a lot of success running the ball in a game like this. Against Western Kentucky, they don't have the best defense against rushers, but I think Bryce is boom or bust when throwing the ball. He can bomb it up for touchdowns, but he's going to throw plenty of interceptions. I think the best way to attack this game for me is play the over, know that Zappy's going to make history in Boca Raton. And I would play that up to 68, probably. Mark, what do you think about this one?
Well, here's what I'll say. I mean, there's weather in Boca Raton today, like bad weather. So I would watch it closely and see what the weather looks like. Because if it rains, it's going to affect that Western Kentucky passing offense. Plus, excuse me, App State has a very good run offense. They'll try to slow this thing down a little bit. I lean towards the under. I like App State laying the 3. I really do, but I'd lean towards the under.
I like App State laying the 3 too for the reasons you said, Zeno, when I'm looking at that weather. But that kind of, did me dirty in the Toledo game yesterday. I was expecting a lot of wind, and I was expecting Jason Candle to remember he had a back that's averaging 7 yards per carry, and instead he decided to throw it 40 times. But we're not going to get into that. We got to move on and move forward. But App State has 2 backs that combined for 1,800 yards and 18 touchdowns this season.
Yeah.
And I just think that they're going to have a lot of success today. And you're talking about Western Kentucky wanting to break this record. That App State defense, that's not, a defense that's just going to give it up that easy. So they're going to have to work for it.
Defense too. Yeah.
They're going to have to work for it. So I'm not necessarily so sure he's going to break that record. So I'm expecting App State to cover that number.
If you guys are into trends, I mean, App State, since they moved up
love a good trend
levels, they're 6-0 in their bowl games and 4-2 against the numbers. So they've yet to lose a bowl game since moving up. So I like.
What's 3 points in college football at the end of the day too?
A field goal.
That is good to know. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Zeno. A field goal. Thank you.
That's what that is, Alex. Also, I'm just on the Bahama breeze yesterday. That's exactly what Jared and I were talking about. I'm like, these winds are going to be affecting the game like tenfold, blah, blah, blah. Jared's like, it's the Bahamas. It's going to be a Bahama breeze. I'm like, it's going to be a Bahama blow. Like that thing's the wind's going to be blowing.
16 mile an hour winds is like, that's a thing. We're moving on from the Bahamas, though. I don't want to talk.
Why we all don't take a trip to the Bahamas Bowl one year? It just seems
I feel like we should. Like, I feel like we
next
just
year.
Go.
Next year we're on site.
Yeah.
Forget the Rose Bowl. Forget the college football playoffs. Send me to the damn Bahamas Bowl.
There we go.
Okay, not as exciting of a place to visit, New Mexico for the New Mexico Bowl. UTEP taking on Fresno State. Oh my gosh, words are hard sometimes. Fresno State. UTEP is getting 11.5 points in this one. Alex, want to break it down for us?
I do, but before I do, I want to tell a quick story about my prep for the New Mexico Bowl, which, led me down a deep rabbit hole. And I ended up on the Instagram page of Fresno State quarterback Jake Hayners. I ended up on his page watching a video where he said, listen, because if you
were deep in the rabbit hole.
I was deep in the rabbit hole, but it's important because if you haven't been paying attention to what's going on with Fresno State, their head coach left, offensive coordinator left. Jake entered the transfer portal and then said, never mind, and came back to the team, right? Kind of sketchy. But there's some speculation whether or not he's going to even play. Their interim head coach right now is kind of keeping it tight-lipped of who's going to start at quarterback. But if you go to his Instagram page, he said that he will be back in 2022, which leads me to believe that he is not expecting to play today. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into that. You know how much I love a good conspiracy theory. So I'm going to take UTEP and the points. When I posted it on Twitter, it was 12.5. I think now it's 11.5 points, but I would take 11.5 points for a couple reasons. Aside from that, Fresno, they might be the better team. UTEP kind of wishy-washy on offense, but this is their first bowl appearance since 2014, and they're going for their first bowl win in 54 years. These bowl games,
84 years.
These bowl games just mean more to some teams, and I think this is a game where it means a lot to UTEP and not too far of a drive for their fans. I believe it's under 3 hours, so they can make that quick trip, make it a little bit of a home game. I'm going to take the points with UTEP.
I like that. And I honestly say never underestimate motivation, right? You look at what Middle Tennessee was able to do yesterday. They won their last game of the regular season to be able to become bowl eligible. That game just meant a lot more to them than it meant to Toledo. And I see the same thing here happening with UTEP. I'm also taking UTEP in the points in this one, Mark.
Yeah, I'm all over UTEP. Love this
Squad ride.
play
Let's
today.
roll. Let's
Got it at
go.
11.5. Here's one thing that sold me on it, guys. Despite the fact that Fresno has got a really high-powered pass offense, so whether it's Jake Hayner or Jalen Henderson at quarterback, we don't really know yet. They average 330 yards a game through the air. However, UTEP's pass defense, 23rd in pass defense efficiency in the nation. They give up just 200 yards a game through the air. I'll always go edge defense in these spots in bowl games. When Lauren, you talk about motivation, defense will show out more than the offense will. And with all the stuff up in the air and the head coach being gone, this is a spot right here that's prime for the Miners. I'm all about it today. Get me a pickaxe and let's go.
Let's do it. Let's do
I'm
it.
all about it. All about. I also love when we're all on the same side of something because that does not happen very often.
They're the Miners, right? The Miners?
Yeah, the Miners. That's why I said get me a pickaxe, man.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I think there's a pickaxe emoji too, so I can't wait to just be. I'm going to tweet out the pickaxe
emoji all day long.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's take it to the Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl. Say that 5 times fast. Mark, you want to try it out?
Sure. BYU. It's one of these spots here where you have a ranked team against a unranked team from a smaller conference, right? BYU. Theoretically, they're trying to make the argument they should have been in a New Year's Six bowl. However, they're contractually obligated to play in a bowl that is owned by ESPN events. So this is where they ended up getting stuck. This is another game, I think, where weather is going to be a big part of what is going on in Shreveport, which seems like a lovely place to play. But nonetheless.
Almost like the Bahamas.
No shots at Shreveport, please. No shots at Shreveport.
Both of these teams are high-level rushing offenses, right? And you talk about a UAB team that averages 177 yards a game on the ground. BYU averages 187. But BYU also gives up 151 on the ground, which, is a lot for college football. I lean to the under in this spot, guys. With the weather being what it are and 2 natural run teams, I don't necessarily think that this is going to be a spot where you're going to see a lot of passing. Dwayne McBride, the running back for BYU, questionable to play, hurt. That's another thing that makes me lean on the under. I don't get a real good feel for the side. It may be a little bit too much. If this number goes to 7.5 for BYU, I could see taking UAB, the Blazers, a team that came back to college football. This is probably more of a motivational spot for them, whereas it's a letdown spot for BYU to be in a bowl game that's kind of December 18th, nowhere near like actual bowls that matter. So from that standpoint, I don't have a real good feel for the side, but if it goes to 7.5, I totally get UAB, but I'll play the under here.
Yeah, I'm taking UAB laying not UAB laying the points, BYU laying the points in this game. Like you were talking about it, right? BYU made most of their money this year in their offense running the football. Great news for UAB. Guess what? Because they have one of the best run defenses in college football. I think a little bit, maybe not. I don't know, at least in their conference. But they could put a stop to BYU run game, which could change the game entirely. But I think even though UAB put up some good numbers against the run this season, they haven't really gone up against a team of the same caliber as BYU this season, basically since probably week 2 against Georgia, right? And that was an absolute slaughter. So I think the Cougs cover here with confidence. They're more talented, more experienced. I like them laying the points in this one. Alex, how do you feel?
Yeah, I'm with you, Lauren. We're talking about the level of competition UAB's played, like you mentioned. Georgia's the only Power 5 competition they played all year. And then we got BYU, who has 6 P5 wins. They had 5 Pac-12 wins, and I think they beat Virginia this season. So, we're looking at their numbers, and you look at UAB, and they have this back that Dwayne McBride, who's got 500-yard rushing games. One game over 200 yards, but who's he doing it against? Who's he playing? So I'm thinking that this is a good spot for BYU. But like Mark said, he made a great point about the level or about the spot. UAB. Probably happy to be in this bowl game, ready, motivated to play. BYU, this is a letdown spot for them. They don't really care about playing in Shreveport, but I'm hoping.
Hey,
that BYU
you just said not
under
to
a
talk bad
touchdown.
about Shreveport.
No shade to Shreveport. I'm sure it's a lovely place, but I like BYU laying the 6.5 points here, but I don't love it.
Oh, Lending Tree Bowl. Let's head over there. Eastern Michigan. Where is the Lending Tree Bowl?
It is in Hancock Whitney Stadium in Mobile, Alabama.
Mobile, Alabama. Eastern Michigan taking on Liberty. EMU getting 9.5 points in this one. Alex, break it down for us.
All right. Well, the MAC's been struggling in bowl games, huh? 0-2 in bowl games so far. One day into this thing, we saw the MAC champ go down last night to Coastal. Toledo let everybody down against Middle Tennessee. And now here we are with Eastern Michigan against Liberty. Eastern Michigan, a very interesting team, kind of an inconsistent team. As someone who is a frequent watcher of Maction, I'm going to
big Maction guy.
Yeah, big Maction guy. I'm going to lay the 9.5 points with Liberty. This is a spot I don't love. I can see this getting up to 10 before kickoff because a lot of money is going to come in on Liberty.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. Eastern Michigan's done pretty well against mobile quarterbacks this season, but they haven't faced a guy as dynamic as Malik Willis. And, we talk about motivation, and I think that's the most important factor in these bowl games. What is motivating these guys? And there was a lot of question whether or not Malik Willis would even play. He's going to be a first-round draft pick. Why would he play in the Lending Tree Bowl? What is his motivation? Well, he wants to show out for the scouts.
He's alone. So
he's not listen, and more power to him. I'm not knocking anybody that has opted to sit out their bowl games that aren't the playoffs. That's their choice. But Malik Willis has decided to play, and I think the only reason you decide to play is when you want to put on a show.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that he is ready to light up a terrible Eastern Michigan defense and put up incredible numbers. On the other side, that Liberty defense also really strong, gets pressure on the quarterback. So I think Eastern Michigan is going to struggle today. I can see this actually being a blowout. So I'm going to lay the 9.5 points with Liberty.
Ooh, Mark, what do you think? Oh, also really quick, just not a note about the Liberty Bowl, but just talking about players opting out. People get on them right now and they're like, why are you opting out? It's like, okay, sometimes it doesn't matter. I mean, you see what happened. Like I remember one of my friends from college, Jake Butt, ended up playing in the bowl game and he tore his ACL in the bowl game. And that really impacted him in the draft the next season. And then he was working back from injuries year after year after year.
Was never the same.
Never the same. So I totally get it. It sucks for us. Obviously in terms of betting, it makes it a little bit more difficult. Like I look at a team like Pitt. I mean, without Pickett, you know what I mean? Like,
well, look at the Peach Bowl in general. Without Kenny Pickett and without Kenneth Walker III. Who cares about the Peach Bowl now?
Under Peach Bowl. Anyway.
Well, here's how we can evolve that conversation. Because while I understand what you're saying, Lauren, I'll throw this out there to all of you. How close are we to getting players paid and compensated to play in these bowl games with NIL deals, with everything that's going on? And we're seeing the landscape shift in college sports in general. How close are we to seeing a bowl or a booster or somebody, signing a player to an NIL deal to get them to play in said bowl game?
That would be an awful decision. You got a lousy agent if you sign a deal that forces.
Hold on, you've heard stories from kids now saying that they didn't even want to go pro because they were making more money in college than they would have on those rookie contracts. So these NIL deals are getting out of control, but that's a whole different discussion. You're only worth what someone's willing to pay you. Capitalism. I'm a fan, but I think we're really close to seeing that.
I mean, closer now than ever, if you will, just because of all of the things that are going on right now. College players being able to actually be paid, get sponsorships, etc. It's closer now, and I guess more accepted now than it ever has been before. Mark, are you on this Lending Tree Bowl at all?
I'm going to approach it from a different direction here. Look, Eastern Michigan is a team that just tends to hang around. Like in every game that they have lost, it's usually a one-score game. So that leads me to lean on Eastern Michigan. A couple of different ways to play this, and I'll look at it. Here's the thing about Liberty that scares me a little bit. They beat up on bad teams. The last 3 weeks of the year, they played Ole Miss, Louisiana, and Army, 3 bowl teams. They got outscored 100-44. They scored 14, 16, and 16 in the final 3 games of the regular season. Now, I'm not saying that Eastern Michigan is the level of any of those teams. They're not, but it's a little bit alarming that their offense has sputtered. I look at 2 things in this spot. I would play the Liberty team total over. I'd probably look at that because of what Glaze said about Malik Willis wanting to show out and they're motivated to score. I get a little bit apprehensive of what I saw the last 3 weeks. But again, Eastern Michigan is not those 3 teams. So at 34.5 is where I saw One Shop have the Liberty team total. I put it at 32, so I'm a little bit skittish on a missed field goal by an idiot college kicker would make me a loser in that spot and really bother me. But I think that's a smart play. But I also think the over is the way I'd lean here, is both these teams can get into the 30s, and understanding the fact that their defenses both give up in the mid-20s and their offenses both score in the 30s. So I feel like a game where you're getting to 33-30 is a possibility. 33-27 is a possibility. Like hitting that 60 number shouldn't be difficult for either one of these teams, all things considered. So I looked at the Liberty team total over and the over in the game, but too many points for me to give Eastern or for Liberty to lay when Eastern Michigan's a team that just loves to hang around.
Yeah, actually, I'm taking EMU in the points in this game.
Yeah.
So I have a good feeling about them hanging around, just kind of being like that pest that won't go anywhere, you know? Okay, let's head west. I feel like once you have a bowl game named after you, you've made it. So Jimmy Kimmel has made it for the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl, okay? Oregon State taking on Utah State. Utah State getting 7 points in this game. Mark, break it down for us. What do you think is going to happen in this one?
I mean, this is one of those spots that just the heavens open up and it's like, oh my God, it's so clear. I see everything now. And I see Utah State covering the 7.5, and I see Utah State winning outright. I love them.
I'm with you on this.
The money line is just a fantastic play, getting better than 2-1 in this spot. It's the classic matchup of a lower conference team as a conference champ going up against a middling Power 5 team, and they take advantage of it. You talk motivation. Oregon State has no reason to give a rip about this game at all whatsoever. This is Utah State's Super Bowl. This is an offense that averages over 300 yards passing through the air. This is a middle-of-the-road passing defense for Oregon State. Utah State 5-2 against the number this season with 5 outright upsets in their covers against Power 5s. I mean, they are just right there. I mean, this is a prime spot for Utah State on the money line. I love them getting 7.5.
Also,
Alex, what do you think about
Utah State good against the run, and Oregon State a very one-dimensional offense. Yeah. So I can definitely see. I'm with you guys. I'm with Utah State.
I know. I am also too. And I know, Mark, you said sprinkle money line. I'm all in on the money line.
Yeah, no sprinkles for you.
Yeah, no sprinkles for me.
Just full on cone, dipped and everything.
Yeah. Give me that whole freaking cupcake. I'm ready for it. Not just the sprinkles. I need it all. Put a cherry on top if you want to as well. I see this as a situation where both offenses are going to find success, but neither team's really going to find a chance to pull away. I think it's going to be a really, really close game, but I think Utah State ends up on top of this one, and I love this at plus 225. I love it. Love the value.
The total, guys, is 67. Like it's almost, it was one of those totals. I'm like, I mean, if it goes over, it may scare me, right? If it goes over, because Oregon State is scoring a ton. So I think it's a correlating bet situation, but I mean, Utah State, I'm with you. Money line is fantastic.
Let's head back east and south and take it to New Orleans for the second most exciting event of the year, other than Mardi Gras, the RL Carriers New Orleans Bowl. Marshall taking on Louisiana. Mark, what are you expecting in this one?
Well, I know Lauren is sitting here going, we are Marshall, but Glaze and I are sitting here going, we are Louisiana, because a de facto home game for the Raging Cajuns here in this spot.
I just love saying Raging Cajuns.
I know. It's a lot of fun. So there's a lot of things at play here in this game. Louisiana lost their coach. Billy Napier headed to Florida. I think their defensive coordinator is also out. Michael DeSormo, their co-offensive coordinator, is going to coach the game for them today. This is an offense that averaged nearly 400 yards per game for Louisiana Lafayette and nearly 200 yards a game on the ground. You take that run offense against a bad Marshall rush defense, which gives up 190 yards a game on the ground. The Raging Cajuns lost their opener at Texas and have won 12 straight since then. Earlier this year, when Marshall played App State, a team we talked about earlier, they gave up 280 yards rushing on the ground. And App State does not have the rush offense that Louisiana does. This is a short number for a favorite here, a de facto home game. Pound the Raging Cajuns, baby. Let's get on top of it. You may be Marshall, but I am Louisiana.
I know, Alex, you're Louisiana too, so I'll let you go first before I give my little rebuttal. What do you think?
Everything Zeno said, I'm with it. Raging Cajuns. There's nothing. Look. He hit all my points. It's like he stole my notes. But
oh my God!
Listen, you're saying it's too soon to bet against Marshall, and
it's always too soon to bet against. It's always too soon to bet against Marshall. It's always too soon.
Sometimes you got to leave your heart out.
You got her all up in her feels right there, and Matthew McConaughey.
Here's the thing. I just have far too many questions about Louisiana to trust it as a favorite in this spot. Nearly every starter from 2020 returned this year to win another Sun Belt title and possibly earn the New Year's Six berth before riding off into the sunset on their little freaking horse, whatever, that they get, like, whatever. But I think they accomplished the first goal, but they missed out on the New Year's Six. And then Coach Billy Napier left to take over at Florida. I just can't help but wonder, those who remain, I think this is going to be a letdown spot for them. I really, really do. Meanwhile, Marshall, I think they're finding its first season under Charles Huff. They came up short of winning the division, but they have a chance to prove themselves against the conference champion and build some momentum for 2022. I'm taking the points with the herd. I'm not going against the money line. I'm feeling frisky today. So I'm going to take Marshall money line and also sprinkle it on Marshall +4. So my bet, I was going to take Marshall in the points, but now you guys got me fired up.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're fired up. Just
no gumbo and jambalaya for you there, Lauren. No gumbo and jambalaya for you. None.
You know what? It's okay. I'm still gonna say Raging Cajuns, but boo Raging Cajuns. Let's go Marshall. We are Marshall. This is their time to shine. I like them in this spot. All right, those are the 6 bowl games today. I'm so excited about it. We're breaking down every single bowl game moving forward. But on a rare occasion, we have some NFL on a Saturday. It's pretty crazy. 2 NFL games today, Saturday, Sunday.
One. Just one. They moved the other one. Yeah, Cleveland and LA got moved to Tuesday.
Oh, COVID.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Make the Browns
don't
play.
the Browns
Make
have
the
like
Browns
21
play
or 22 people right now on the protocol list?
Yeah, and here, Glaze, the Ravens fan, make the Browns play. Make the Browns play.
Listen, they said at the beginning of the year they were going to make. Listen, you had to play. They said they weren't moving games, but
you're right. Yeah, you're dumb enough to believe that.
Yeah,
right, I'm sure.
Okay, so one NFL game today, Saturday fun day. I don't know if that works, but we're going to make it work.
Saturdays are for the boys.
Guys,
Saturdays for the boys and for NFL football, 6 bowl games. That's all I got to say.
Schedule real quick for the NFL. They play tonight. They play Sunday, they play Monday, they play Tuesday, off on Wednesday, play Thursday, they play Christmas Eve Friday, Christmas Day Saturday, and the 27th on Sunday. You got 6 out of the next 7 days with NFL.
That's unreal. That's actually like a dream come true. I'm so excited about it. And I'm really excited about the game tonight because the Colts taking on the Patriots. I've been riding high on the Patriots all season. Alex, I'm going to come to you first for this one. Who do you like when you look at this game straight up, or are you taking the spread?
I like the Patriots. I'm going to take the points. Also, I would sprinkle the money line in this one. Listen, Bill Belichick has had extra time to prepare for this game.
Yes.
That nothing else needs to be said, but I'm going to continue. Bill Belichick has had extra time to prepare for this game, right? Then I take it a step further. You go back to their game against the Bills. They were missing Kyle Duggar, their safety, great in coverage, but also a big help in the run game for them. The Colts, what do they like to do? They like to run the football. They're one of those teams that relies on the run. Jonathan Taylor, everyone's expecting him to have a big game because all he's done all season is have big games, right? I think his rushing totals 93.5. It was earlier in the week. So Vegas is expecting a big game, and I'm sure a lot of people bet the over for that. Bill Belichick is going to take Jonathan Taylor out of this game. He's going to make Carson Wentz beat them. That's just what this is. All this extra prep has gone into how are we going to stop Jonathan Taylor. If they lose, it's going to be because Carson Wentz shreds them. And I don't see that because this Patriots secondary is also one of the better secondaries in the league and one of the best defenses against the run. So I'm all in on the Patriots. I don't see a spot where the Colts get this done just because everything that I know about this game tells me that Bill Belichick is going to absolutely take Jonathan Taylor out of this thing. He might not even get 50 yards today. I'm telling you, he's going to be a non-factor.
Mark, you agree? Disagree?
When I see this game, this game is the same thing as Lauren saying to her boyfriend, "You don't need to get me a Christmas present. In the words of the great Admiral Akbar, it's a trap. It is a trap."
No, it's not.
It is a 100% trap. As soon as you see this game, you go, New England's catching points? How is this possible? Of course I have to take New England. It's a trap. There's a reason the Colts are favored. This is a game right here where the Colts will dictate the pace of everything. You lose the weather factor because they're indoors. And let me bring up one thing that not enough people have said. The head coach of the Indianapolis Colts is Frank Reich. The last time Frank Reich went up against Bill Belichick as a play caller was in the Super Bowl. How did that work out? He was the coordinator for the Eagles who beat them and put 40 up on that defense. He knows how to scheme against Belichick. He knows what to do to get guys open. He knows how to match up against Bill Belichick. This is important when you're looking at this. It is a complete trap. There's a reason the Colts are favored. They are the right side. So is the over. The Colts offense shows up so much against good teams. They scored 31 against Tampa Bay. They scored 41 against Buffalo. They know how to scheme.
Okay, but that's a Tampa secondary. We know what's going on with that Tampa secondary. This is completely
different. They had to run
and
against.
They should not have won that game.
Run defense in the league, and Jonathan Taylor still got his, man. This is a trap.
Jonathan Taylor did not get his against the Bucs. I think
it is a trap game. Trust me, it's a trap game. Take the Colts.
I like two things in this game. Number one, I'll just talk about this. This is not my best bet. My best bet is straight up Patriots. I'll tell you a little bit more about that. My other bet that I'm making in this game, Hunter Henry, anytime touchdown at plus 210. He's gone 3 straight games without a touchdown reception after scoring 7 in his previous 7 games. I think he's going to end the drought today. It takes a little while for the offense to mesh, find its identity. He's scored 4 touchdowns in the 6 games against teams with winning records this season. He's responsible for all but one of New England's tight end scores in 2021. He leads the team in touchdown receptions and 10th most in the NFL, 2nd most among tight ends in the entire NFL. And the Colts allow the 2nd most passing TDs per game, with 6 going to tight ends. So I really, really like this bet in this game. Hunter Henry, anytime touchdown, plus 210. I think that's an easy bet. For me, Mark, I don't think it's a letdown spot because the only thing that's been able to stop the Patriots over the last 2.5 months was their bye week. Literally, the only thing. They're riding a 7-game win streak right now. They covered in every single game as well. I think a key trend for me is the Patriots are 6-1 against the spread following a bye week. So I really like the Patriots in this spot. And needless to say, Bill Belichick, he just knows what he's doing, as Alex said. Needless to say more. Indy is 3-7 against the spread in the last 10 at Lucas Oil Stadium as well. I like the Patriots money line in this one. I like the value. I'm getting it plus 118. If you're not feeling as aggressive, I would take the Patriots and the points. I like the Patriots in this spot. This is my best bet of the day. It might be a letdown spot. It might be, but I
don't think it's a letdown spot, Lauren. There's no reason. Look, put this game on a neutral field. Are the Patriots a favorite? Yes, they are. Of course they are. Right? And so the natural inclination is to think you're getting value with the Patriots as dog. I just see it as a trap spot. I mean, honestly, there's no reason the Colts should be favored. Patriots should be a 1 or 2 point favorite in this spot, and nobody would be shocked at it. And so, yeah, I think there's clearly value with the Patriots catching points, but there's no reason for me not to.
Zeno, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I have a question for you. What is it about this Colts team that you like?
Their head coach and
they beat the Jets.
Desire for the run.
I'm just looking at the last couple weeks. They beat the Jets, the Jags, the Bills, which the Bills aren't looking like the Bills. They beat the Texans, and now
that game was also like a wild game. It was like ice cold.
So I'm just looking at those wins though. We got Jets, Jags, Bills, Texans. Okay. Those are their 4 wins leading into this game. What makes you so high on the Colts and Frank Reich?
So you're aiding into my argument that the Patriots shouldn't be favored. That's why I'm saying it's a trap spot. Like, if the Colts aren't that good, why are they favored?
Yeah,
they're telling you something.
I think people I think people are really high on the Colts because people are really high on Jonathan Taylor.
That's what I was gonna say. The one thing that scares me is Jonathan Taylor. That I literally have that in my notes. One thing that scares me, Jonathan Taylor. Stopping the run has been the Pats' weakness. So, but I think Bill Belichick historically has been able to take away the other team's top weapon. So that's the only thing that gives me a little bit of hope in this one. But Jonathan Taylor is the one thing that scares me in this spot with the Colts.
I'll make another case, guys, to pump the over here. 4 of the last 5 in these contests have gone to the over. The Patriots, after starting the season with 4 straight unders, 6 of their last 9 is go to the over. I know that their defense is playing really, really well right now. The Colts, 4 of their last 6 has gone over. When you get a number under 47 between these two teams at 45.5, 46, 27-20 is a realistic possibility. I mean, I just think that's where this game ends up, 27-24 in that range. They're going to clear 45, 46, I think, easily. I like the over a lot today, too.
We have a question in the chat right now. Colts on the spread first half -1 and full game over 44.5. Mark, what do you think?
The full game over, if you have it down at 44.5, because people have been betting. So I think the market has finally caught up with the Patriots where the 42, 43s that we were seeing as their overs, Vegas bumped it up to 45 and probably overcorrected a little bit. And so from that standpoint, I think the over 44.5 is great. If you got it at 44.5, I jump all over it. That key number of 44 kind of is a little bit if you're that close to it, it's almost like I want to buy the half point. I don't ever suggest doing that, or rarely suggest doing it. But 44 is an easy number. I think they clear. Again, I just see 27-20 being the neighborhood of the final.
Yeah. Okay. Our best bets of the day. Obviously, I already talked about mine. Patriots money line. Alex, yours is Patriots plus 2.5. Use your best bet.
2.5. Yeah, I'm looking at the chat right now. That Colts will win tonight. Goodell wants the Colts in the playoffs. Vegas begging the squares to bet on the Pats. Bet the over and leave the side
I guess
alone.
if they're begging the squares,
I'm glad the public agrees with me.
Call me a square.
Yeah. Wait. So if the public agrees with you, Zeno, then I guess
the public in the chat room. Not the betting public.
Oh, so you're saying the chat? Okay.
The chat room public.
We got all sharps in the chat. All sharps.
You know what? Sometimes you got to be a blue Fruit Loop and a bowl of Cheerios, baby, and that's what I am today. So
I like
that's
that.
what I
You
am.
just gave me a visual that I'm going to be stuck on for a while.
Mark, your best bet is Colts, straight up, spread.
NFL or overall? My
overall,
best bet.
What's your best bet overall?
Oh, well, a UTEP. UTEP is just take the money and run. I feel really great about the Miners tonight.
Pocket it, baby.
Yeah, covering them. But I'll stay off this side because, again, I think you guys make compelling arguments for tonight in the NFL. I'll stay off the side because I think you make compelling arguments for why and the things you're talking about, how good Belichick is at taking away a guy like Jonathan Taylor. But I really like the over tonight.
I'm gonna go to Home Depot and buy a pickaxe. I'm gonna keep the receipt though, because I'm only keeping it for the game. I just need to hold it during the game for this game, and then I'm gonna return it.
I like it. I know, just using props for the game. I'm all about it, Alex.
Alex,
Mark, Alex, Mark, appreciate it. Okay, great show today. We'll see you guys next week-ish, but we'll be back on the show tomorrow, 10 a.m. tomorrow, Eastern time, to break down even more bowl games. We got NFL football. So much to talk about. It's been such a blast, guys. Happy Saturday. Let's go UTEP. Let's go Pats. All about it. All right. Without further ado, let's get it. Let's bet it. Thanks for joining, guys. Have a great day. Best of luck.